So my last video was about a farming shooter game that I'd been working on, but to be honest, I wasn't really having fun at all. So don't tell anybody, but I just decided to abandon it and move on to bigger and better things. And now I'm working on some 3D things, but before that, I just want to talk about what happened after I decided to stop working on my other project, because I just wanted to know what it felt like to get a game done. And to do that, I felt like I needed a time limit, and I know, completely novel idea, but I decided I would try to be part of a game jam. But long story short, I was too scared, and I decided to just make my own and give myself 3 days. The theme I got from this random website was "You Are the Monster," and this is what I came up with. Okay, it's been a while since I've opened this project, so let's see what this game is all about, right? Okay, fantastic menu screen to start off with. I was pretty proud of the art, to be honest. It's pretty simple, but I think it's kind of cute. That's really loud. Oh, that's really loud. Ow. I don't think my volume was at a normal level while I was working on this. That's so loud. Other than the abrasive shooting noise, I mean, this is riveting gameplay. Oh my goodness. I added a couple power-ups. I can't keep playing this. That's the end screen. It looks pretty good, I think. Yeah, that's my game. It's really loud. It's really loud. I got the sound effect for that project from SFXR, which is a free little 8-bit sound effect generator, and I vaguely remember just sitting there in the dead of night hitting the generate random noise button over and over and over again, and I was losing my mind. Some of those noises were really funny, but the fact that it was really late at night just made it so much better. I'll play a clip of some of the different noises that I was hearing. Okay, that probably wasn't that funny to you, but it was funny to me. Okay, so don't judge. It was late at night. I was hysterical. I wanted to get things done. Those noises were funny. Okay, anyway, after that, I decided to start working on
The third dimension.
Even though my experience with 3D games is already somewhat limited, I decided to make it harder on myself by making a first-person game based on walking around a planet. To make it easier on myself, though, I decided to just make the planet rotate instead of the player. This worked well enough, so I decorated the planet with some trees and some grass that I modeled in a program called Blockbench, which is typically used for making custom Minecraft models, but can also be used to make other low-poly objects. The problem with my game was that I wasn't actually applying any physics to the player, so I couldn't jump or collide with anything, because I was just floating in the air with a rotating planet beneath my feet. I remembered seeing a video by Sebastian Legueux, in which he coded a solar system that the player can fly around and explore different planets. I took some inspiration from this and started making a planet generator by following one of his tutorials. It was made for Unity though, so I had to think about everything in Godot terms and make up for some things that weren't the same. I stayed up all night recreating the first few episodes of his project, and it actually turned out pretty good. At first I was following the Godot documentation's tutorial on using a mesh instance with an array mesh, but that led to some problems with generating normal vectors, which tell the engine which way light should scatter after hitting a surface. I learned about Godot's surface tool, which generates normals automatically, and changed the code to implement that instead. After getting to a point where I was satisfied, I realized that I actually had no idea how to save the planet for future use. The foundation of the planet was built from a cube which had been turned into a sphere. This meant that there were technically 6 faces making up the whole thing, and I didn't know how to stitch them together into a single mesh. After all my hard work, it was time for a different solution. Thankfully, Sebastian Legueux had another video on a different kind of planet generation. He didn't detail how to make it, but he did mention that it was based off of an icosphere. An icosphere is based off an icosahedron, which is made from connecting the vertices of 3 rectangles each on a different plane. Each rectangle has a ratio in their side lengths of 1.618, or the golden ratio. If you take the 20 triangles that make up an icosahedron, split each triangle into 4 more triangles, and then put those new vertices that result from the new triangles onto a sphere, the resulting shape gets closer and closer to an actual sphere. I did some research and found an article detailing how to make an icosphere in C++. So again, all I had to do was think about everything in Godot terms. With my newfound companion, the surface tool, it only took me one more all-nighter to make the new planet generator. This was great and all, but what's the point of having a planet and not being able to walk on it? My next step was to create a player movement system, and this is where everything started to go downhill. I had no idea where to start, so I figured I would watch a tutorial or two to get some reference. I spent a decent amount of time getting the movement to work, at least I thought it was working, and then I zoomed out. As soon as the player reached the halfway mark around the planet, everything just went haywire. I couldn't figure out what the problem was and felt like I had a fundamental misunderstanding of Godot's rotation system. I was stumped. This video was uploaded exactly 1 day before I started having problems. I couldn't believe my luck. Zen42, you are my savior. I watched his entire video and took the most important elements from the movement script to apply to my game. I ended up just using spheres as planets to walk on and used the new planet generator I made to make this interesting rock asteroid thing that's orbiting the planet. The skybox you're seeing was made using a really cool program called Spacescape, which allows you to layer together different kinds of noise in order to make, galaxy looking things. I tried making one on my own, but it didn't look nearly as good as the default skybox that comes with the program, so I just ended up using that. After adding a sun and one more little planet to my solar system, this is what it looked like. So there's a couple things that I'd like to change about my game. First of all, the planets are still completely spherical. Second of all, they don't actually rotate around the sun, so that's something I'd like to add. And if you watch Sebastian Legue's video, he's got this really cool little spaceship that the player can get in and out of and fly around to the different planets, and then walk around on foot instead of just flying through space like mine is. Definitely go check out Zen42's video. His project is basically just a much better version of what I made here. It's way more in-depth, and he's also an Outer Wilds modder, which is really cool. And I think that's where he got the inspiration to make this little space game that he's working on. But definitely go check it out. His tutorial really helped me a lot. Anyway, that's the end of the video. Bye.